All right, what is up, everybody? Hope you guys are staying safe out there. These times in the world are a bit crazy. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. A new strategy, looking at some strategies that have come out in the past and just kind of keep up with them, look at the markets and kind of plan for the future. So let me jump right on in. This strategy I'm showing you right now is a new one-day strategy I just finished. So I took the 1 hour bands and kind of put the AI components into them just to create a really, I guess, high profit factor strategy that if you have a stop loss on is pretty amazing, and if you take the stop loss off of it right here or give it a little bit wider to run with, the results do get better, but your risk also gets better. So for example, I'll show you if I take my max stop loss off, our profit factor will go up and our percent profitable will go up. So it's almost 80% profitable, and the profit factor is 2, which is crazy. Also, the total P&L is really, really high. This is over the last, how many years is this? Like since 2012. So this is over a very long period. But there's a lot more volatility, and if you kind of go into the trade analytics, I'm not going to jump in there now. You guys can take a look at that when it comes out. There is way more swings because the strategy will obviously go through more volatility, which is why it gets stopped out. And when the stop loss is at 5%, you could also put the stop loss at 3% if you want to be a bit safer. But all of those 3% or off, and just using the emergency stop and ATR risk makes, like I said, for some really, really great results. However, you will take some bigger losses when you take losses. This recent one was about a 5.5% loss, and then you see a lot of small wins, small losses. So this also uses the new part of the SKX, the new part of the update that is kind of looks at different break-even possibilities. So I'm not going to jump into the strategy today. When it actually comes out, I will jump in a little bit more. But this is coming down the pipes, just kind of doing the last final touches on it. It also has our trading panel here, just to kind of look at maybe more high probability places where it will reverse. So when it goes beyond the band proximity by a large amount, it's likely to reverse and go the other direction, or at least have some sideways. This one probably closed a decent amount above it. This one over here closed a little bit more above it, but this one, obviously, you can see right here, didn't really, it had a little bit of a pullback there, but mostly went sideways. However, when this one wicked below it, it did settle above it eventually. So these are not cut and dry scenarios. These are something that you can kind of do some bar replay and look at and decide if you want to try to hand trade more off of that. But it's something that's there just for information. I do not recommend doing anything beyond just having some nice insights. But it's whatever you want to do, this is for users to use and do what they will. All right, so let's jump into strategies that we have been looking at, and I've released on the Discord a while ago. This one is the 30-minute strategy, 30-minute AI strategy. Took a massive loss here. Let's see how big this is in our trade analytics or performance. This is going to be, list of trades down. This is going to be I guess it's not as bad as it looks. It's 3% loss, but it is pretty hefty. And when you look back here, had 1%, 1.5% loss, 1% loss, basically flat. 0.3, 0.65, 0.71. So this has kind of been going sideways for over, the last, whatever this would be, 10 trades or so. You can see since trade 450, about 453, it's been going sideways, and we're about 470. So that'd be almost 17 trades going sideways. And before that, went sideways for even longer, then had a massive uptick. Before that, right here, went down, sideways and down for a long, long time. Let's see, this would be trade 211 till 288, so about 70 trades, over 70 trades went in the negative before it started going positive. And then from trade 290 to 412. So what would that be? 120 trades. It kind of went parabolic there and then sideways again. So this is something that is important to kind of take note of if you're trading strategies. It's really easy in times like this to turn strategies off, and I even often can fall prey to that. I did that with some lower time frame strategies that I was more so just testing them to have some data on them, and I don't have them pulled up. But on a 5-minute strategy that I was running for months and months, I happened to turn it off literally right before it recovered and kind of really took off from there. But this is the emotions that we often that we often have to deal with as traders. When we see the markets not going in our direction, it's very easy to get disheartened and miss out on the gains. And someone in my DMs asked me just a little bit ago, for some thoughts on trading. I cannot give financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I will say a common mistake that I make or I see made is people try to jump in between strategies. They see another strategy doing well, so they'll take their capital from the strategy they've been trading and put it into this other one. And it's just a matter of probability. So all strategies have, pullbacks, sideways, and kind of parabolic runs. If it's a good strategy, it'll have some runs where it just goes crazy. And oftentimes what happens, we get discouraged after going sideways for a while. Maybe we'll take our money out, put it somewhere else. And if the strategy is decent after going sideways for a while, eventually it will recover, and maybe we put it into another strategy that has been doing super well. And again, after a strategy does super well, just kind of built into the cards, eventually it's going to have some sideways or some downsides. And so it's very easy to get caught in the game and the emotion of trying to chase gains. And in my experience, it's very unhealthy and non-productive to do that. It's way better to find a strategy, stick with it, and let it do its thing. Or my personal preference is I'll put my money in 2 to 3 strategies that I have high conviction in and let those do their thing. So I'm covered a little bit. Maybe one strategy will be going sideways while the other one takes off. Sometimes all 3 of them don't do well at the same time, and that really hurts, but that is just part of it. But anyway, so this strategy right here is with the Bumper Bands 30 AI and Max that is in the Discord there. If you're not a part of the Discord, you're welcome to join the Patreon account and get access to these tools. And shoot me a DM if you are going to be doing that. I'll get you all set up. But so let's look at the 1 hour. We're going to keep going from here. This is 1 hour that I released. Again, this one took it's about a 3% loss there. And then had a small win, and now has been sideways. So this trade is currently open. It's been open for, since Wednesday, so almost a day and a half now, and basically just gone sideways. So we'll see. This trade may end up taking off, getting closing at a win, or who knows, a loss. The markets right now are just super boring and not a lot going on, but this strategy is up and running and available on the Discord. Let's see, this is the 1 day that we looked at earlier. So this one I kind of built a little bit more for those who want to trade by hand and just you can have or trade spot. You can have obviously the algorithm and the automated trading do it for you if you want, but I would recommend going in, looking at the stop loss, making sure you're comfortable with where the stop loss is at and everything else in the strategy. But yeah, this is a very simple tool here. Well, I say simple, it actually has a decent amount of parts to it. But if you're used to the Bumper Bands tools, it is basically standard to what is in the Bumper Bands AI tools. Again, I'll jump into the details of those later, but this is on Bitcoin and this is on ES1. So kind of like the mini futures that trade around the clock. And yeah, you can see pretty great results. Obviously, not as good as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a much more volatile asset, but still has a really high profit factor. And yeah, can be used on a lot of different things. I did adjust the settings a decent amount in the bands themselves, just to take advantage of a different asset that trades much differently than Bitcoin. But yeah, this trades super well on multiple things. Again, that's the 1 day, and will come out here in the near future. This strategy here is available for users that have purchased the lifetime subscription. It's called the Dual Light, the 1HAI Dual Light. And I actually have two versions. This strategy did take a pretty big loss here. The other version of the strategy actually got out at a small win. I think it entered the trade over here and exited it right there. So while this one took a loss, the other strategy took a win. There's small differences from each of them, and some of them will take losses at times that others won't, and vice versa. That's just a part of it. This one did happen to take a big loss. But the equity curve is pretty solid. Decent profit factor, high profitability percentage, so and a really small drawdown. So the upside to these dual light strategies are both of them have a very small drawdown. I think the other one actually has a little bit smaller drawdown, maybe, or very similar. I think we have the short strategy to look at. So this one is a short strategy built with the 30 AI max on Bitcoin, and you can see it's a smaller profit factor because Bitcoin generally, it's just really hard to trade short strategies on Bitcoin, but it has been winning a decent amount of trades recently. I put it out a month ago or so, and since then has made some gains. So nice to see it at least hanging in there. And I use short strategies as a hedge more so than I don't think we're in a season to short the market yet. But again, not financial advice, just my thoughts and what I'm doing with my personal strategies. Speaking of short strategies, this is a Solana short strategy that's been on the Discord for quite a long time now. And you can see it's actually for a very long time, since trade 272 to 300. So about 100 trades, it's gone sideways, but that's not uncommon. You can see here, there's a period right here where it went sideways for at least that long, made some gains, goes sideways. We'll see if it continues to make some gains here in the future. But again, this is more of a hedge for me. We got this strategy we kind of were keeping an eye on for a while there. I think I was starting to talk about it way back over here and made some massive gains, and since then has been sideways and down a little bit. Recently made a couple small winning trades, but this is for those who want to short altcoins. And the last one I'm going to look at today is an injective strategy that's been on the Discord for a while. So this was one that I was trading for a long time, and I think I stopped trading it back here somewhere. I just saw the equity curve start to diminish quite a bit, and decided to put my money elsewhere. And you can see it lost a bit more, and then it did make some decent gains actually over the last couple months. But I don't think altcoins are my favorite. They're definitely not my favorite to trade unless we've gone through about a year of a bear market or a year and a half of a bear market. That's when I would really consider getting into altcoins again. But right now, I'm not trading altcoins at all, just because they go bad so fast. And not go bad, they lose public interest. And I mean, you can see if I turn the buy and hold on right now, this is injective. It's had its massive run, had a massive downside, another run, another massive downside, and now it's kind of just bumbling around there, going sideways a bit. And the strategy did, for the most part, go up and to the right. There was some periods of sideways until recently, and it really took some heavy losses here. You can see when the strategies don't do super well when you have a drawn out long, not consolidation, but bear or downward period of the market. If it happens fairly fast, the strategy tends to get in and out of trades fast enough to not lose as much. So you can see over here, the downside happened between trade 709 and 763. So, about 50 trades of downward price action. And this kind of held sideways during that. See, this is this period right here where it actually made a little bit of gains and held sideways. Then you have this period of trades over here where from trade 1,100 to 1,000, almost 1,300. I'm pushing it a little bit there. So, but for almost 300 trades, it was a slow and steady grind to the bottom, and that is, really not a good. The strategy cannot keep up with that because it's a scalping strategy, and so it tries to get in trades and then get out up when we have bounces. But if there's not many bounces happening in the asset, it's just going to keep taking losses. And so this is why altcoins can be super dangerous to trade, because unless they're, having some nice bounces, which you can see here, even this had some really nice bounces in there. A lot of nice bounces there. Again, some downside, some nice bounces, downside, some nice bounces. This was mostly just trading down into the right, though it did have a few bounces here and there. The general trajectory was just way more down and to the right, which is, again, just not what these strategies are built for, so they can't handle it as well. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind as you're trading, especially if you're thinking about trading altcoins. Be careful what you do. I am around the Discord if anyone has any thoughts or questions. But just want to put this out there, let you know some new things are coming in this really, really boring period of the market. I'm continuing to trade through this period because I do find that, like I pointed out in the past, the general gains, the massive gains that happen when trading strategies will happen in spurts, and then I'll have some boring periods and then some spurts. So I continue to trade through it all just at a leverage and the capital that I'm comfortable trading, and that's the key to trading success. At least it has been for me. Again, not financial advice, for myself, has been letting my strategies trade. And only again, when I see something different happening, like if I see a strategy or is this injective taking some massive losses and I get I don't feel comfortable trading anymore, I turn it off and I put my capital somewhere else, or I just stay out of the market for a while. But what's the worst thing to do for me has always been when I've turned my strategies off, then out of FOMO, turn them right back on, turn them off, turn them back on. For me, it's all about making long-term decisions and taking the gains, taking the losses as they come, and sticking with it. So, all right, those are the thoughts today. Hopefully that was helpful to y'all, and that you're like I said, that you're staying safe out there. I hope to see you guys in the next video. These releases are coming soon, so stay tuned and talk to you guys then.